here. We are here. Hello, everyone, and welcome to She's Woke Talk Show. My name is Naomi Williams, CEO and life coach of She's Woke organization and Starting With You Life Coaching. So let me tell you guys, for those who do not know me, let me tell you guys a little bit about me and what I do. So like I said, I'm a life coach. Specifically, I'm an empowerment life coach, and I empower women to find their purpose through their passions, and that is through personal development and entrepreneurship. And y'all, let me tell you, the women that are enrolled in my program, the outcomes are true transformation, okay? Yes. So if you are looking to just get back to yourself, get back to finding yourself and who you are and what your purpose and your calling is, or if you're an entrepreneur who is looking to build their brand from the ground up, make sure that you hit me up. You can follow me at Naomi V. Williams on Instagram or Coached by Naomi. You can also book a self-discovery call with me at she'swokeretreat.com, www.she'swokeretreat.com.
Yes. So my name is Melody. I am CEO of Ujima Therapy for the Soul. I'm able to provide a safe and nourishing way for my clients to express themselves and to be able to acknowledge how the mind, body, and spirit works. And yeah.
How can we reach you, girl?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. So you can reach me on my Instagram at intune_queen. And my email is ujimatherapyforthesoul@gmail.com.
And for those who can't spell Ujima.
Ujima is UJIMAA. I believe it is, yes.
All right, awesome, y'all. Awesome. So today we have an interesting topic. First of all, let's give it up to the set, y'all. The set is looking nice. We're doing a little bit different for you guys, you know.
Yes.
And it's a vibe.
Check
out the looks. Check out the looks. We're looking good. We're looking good. So this is going to be a really juicy topic. This is a conversation that never gets old. And this is a conversation that a lot of us are still, especially as women, are working through, which is relationships and finding that right relationship, understanding what the green flags are, understanding what the red flags are in relationships. And, you know, we're going to dive a little bit into our personal experiences, our insight on this. Once again, we are not experts of the topic, but we've been through some stuff, y'all. Okay? Yes. So we got a few badges because we've been through some hell, and I'm sure y'all have been there as well. So the topic is around relationships, and so we're super excited to dive into that conversation today. So my first question that I had for you, Mel, maybe we can bounce back off of this.
We're gonna bounce back.
But so when you're dating someone, right? Say you're dating someone, feeling them out. When is that time that you would say is, okay, let's talk taking the next steps, okay? If they pass all the tests, if they, you know, they check off a good majority of the boxes, because, you know, we may not, you know, be in a relationship. They may not have it all, right? They may not have it all. They may not check off all the boxes. But how do you know when it's like that next step to move into like a relationship rather than dating?
Oh, I feel like it's when you guys have a conversation, it's just when both of y'all are ready, and just being honest with yourself too, especially the other person. You also have to make sure like the other person, I feel in my perspective, is healed at that point, because you can talk to that person and communicate and say, well, are you ready? And then they say yes. And then after that, it's just like, well, I just want to be with you because, you know, you provide like attention for me, or provide some type of thing that I'm avoiding within myself. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a hard question. I feel like, I don't know. What do you think?
So I was thinking about the conversation that we had in the car today. I was thinking about her situation, and I was like, you know, because when you're in dating relationships, it's so easy to put like, not even, you're just dating. You're just dating. And you put like actual relationship requirements on top of that in just the dating phase. And I feel like when we were having that conversation with that girl, I was like, wait a minute, like, you know, she's just dating this guy, she's just getting to know him, and like sometimes we already have, especially as women, because we're like, listen, we're not trying to waste no time. We're trying to get right to it. You either gonna be with me or you're not, right? And so you raised an interesting point where it's like you have to understand like where you are as an individual. And I feel like when you're dating someone, it's like I can be ready to be in a relationship with you, but are you ready to be in a relationship with me, right? Like if you're doing the self work, if you're doing the things that you need to do for yourself, how do you, and you're ready to take that step. And I feel like oftentimes women fall into that. It's like, okay, I've already, you know, I've already cried my tears, I've already healed, I've already picked myself up. Now I'm looking for something new and something better, but it's like the partner is not there.
Yeah, but this is where you have to be observant. Like when we had that conversation, you have to be observant, being like, okay, is this the person that gives me my desires? Like, is this the person that's gonna feed into, that's gonna pour onto me, as like vice versa? You get what I'm saying? So this is, so even though you're ready, and even if the person says they're ready, it's like actions speak louder than words.
That's real. And
you have to like,
that's real. That's real. And I feel like for me, like, I don't know, when I'm dating someone, this could be toxic, y'all let me know. But when I'm dating someone, I'm literally with my notepad in my head and I'm jotting everything down. Because if there's any red flags, we're going to address that right in the moment.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm already imagining, could I be with you? You know, what would that be like? What are some things that are like we may have that are different, you know, because it's so easy to find the similarities in why you're like attracted to someone. But what about the things that are different? And it's like, can you handle that? A lot of us go in relationships where we're like, oh, well, they have this side of them and, you know, it's whatever because they're cute and we're still in the honeymoon phase. But like, what are some deal breakers for you? What would you say is like a deal breaker for you in a relationship?
Don't know how to communicate. Don't know how to communicate. Consistency is key. And being able to be emotionally open and not feel like you have to be on some masculinity stuff. Like, oh, well, I got to be like this. Like, not communicate. It's a partnership. If you're together, it's a partnership. Just like in business, you communicate, you talk, what is going to happen, X, Y, and Z. Just like that. So I feel like that's needed. If you don't have that, I don't want it.
That's real. And I feel like as you get older, and especially like us, we're in our 30s now, and it's like the requirements are so different in a relationship.
Because we don't want to waste our time. No. We're in our 30s. Like,
like you have to already have your own. I feel like that's really big because I've been in relationships where I was looking for the wrong things. Like, you know, when you start growing and evolving, you know, your standards change. And so like when I first like got into relationships, it was all about feeling wanted. It was all about feeling the need to like, you know, the attention or whatever it is, hearing the words of affirmation. But it's like, no, at this point in time, like, do you have an LLC? Do you got something going on with you? You know what I'm saying? Are you ready to put a down payment on a house? Oh my goodness,
that's hilarious.
Like, we're talking big moves here. Are you ready to catch this flight and travel with me? Because if you're not in a position to like, or if you don't even have that vision for yourself 10 years down the line, it's like, well, I feel like I'm going to outgrow you. You
but
know?
here's what's going on, right? You have to make sure you're healed because you won't know what type of person is for you or if they're being toxic or good for you unless you're healed. And a lot of people think they're healed, but in actuality, they're not because of that awareness that they're not trying to pick up on themselves. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel like you have to learn how to be able to heal yourself, become self-aware within yourself, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, so that you can attract that partner that you desire, that you want, and all to check off all of that checklist.
That's
real. To be able to, you know, grow and expand and all that other stuff. So.
Exactly. And that just makes me think of like, and I was literally having this conversation on Clubhouse where I'm like, you attract where you're at right now.
Yes.
Yes, we're talking. You really do. Because I really had to sit back and be like, yo, I attracted a lot of like ancient guys, a lot of guys that really had no substance, and it was a reflection of where I was at, and I'm able to be real and vulnerable and say that, where it was like I was in a space where I'm like I was still finding myself, you know, dealing with daddy issues, and like not able to see the patterns and connect the dots as to why do I keep getting the same copy of the same man, different name, but the same situation. And I realized that I'm like, okay, Naomi, pause. You know, no, like I call them microwave relationships. They start quick, they end quick, right?
I love it.
And that happens because you're rushing into a situation and you haven't even evaluated yourself and be like, okay, am I good? Am I ready? Am I coming into this relationship with selfish needs? And I feel like a lot of us, we don't acknowledge that we do come into relationships with like selfish kind of like, I want to feel this, I need to feel this. But like you were saying, there needs to be a partnership, there needs to be a unity with one another.
Yep. And there's a talk that I did on Instagram. I think you've seen it. Are you really in love with that person, or are you just in love with the void that they're able to fill within you? Because you haven't been able to fill that void within yourself with the love and the care and the understanding within yourself. You can't have a relationship with a person until you learn how to create a relationship with yourself, and that's what matters.
Say that again.
I'm saying it again. You can't be in a relationship with somebody if you don't have a relationship within yourself. And that's what matters. Because again, what you said, you attract what you are. You understand? So if you're feeling hurt and you're feeling abandoned and you're feeling disrespectful, whatever the case may be, you're going to attract that person who's disrespectful. You're going to attract that person who does not love themselves. And then you can't expect that other person to love you the way you want to.
That's real. That's real,
you know,
and that's really, really real.
No bullshit, right?
I'm like, I'm thinking back, and I'm like, wow, I've been in some situations where I'm like, I've allowed certain guys to act and do certain things because I couldn't acknowledge my value. Because I couldn't acknowledge my worth, right? So I was settling for the bare minimum. I'm like, okay, yeah, you can come over, but you ain't gonna take me on a date. I wasn't even requiring a date. I'm just like, come over because I want to see you, because it was a void within me that I was trying to fill.
Girl.
You know,
I went through the whole thing too, abusive relationships. I allowed things to happen. I'm like, okay, cool, because I have this thing where like I can automatically just, it's so weird, I can automatically forgive. Like kind of forget and be like, oh, hey, you know, how you doing? Like, I don't understand it. That's just how I work. But I had to learn within myself being like, no, like set boundary. This is what it is, Melody. And again, it comes with the self-love. This is what, don't forgive. Just, you know, they're showing the actions over words. You have to see it for what it is. And then that's it.
That's real. You just literally made me think of boundaries, right?
Yeah.
So what are some like boundaries that like, and I feel like a lot of women need to talk about this in the beginning stage. Before you get in a relationship, you shouldn't be talking about what your boundaries are like once you're in the relationship. Like that's something that needs to happen beforehand. Like literally, this is what is it called? The probation period, right?
Okay.
So what are some boundaries?
I am really skeptical about boundaries. I'm only saying that, and I say that because a lot of men now, especially unhealed men that may put themselves as healed, they will learn how to observe you and really take in, okay, the boundaries. So say I tell them, okay, the boundaries are, you can't disrespect, you can't talk to me the way you talk to me, right? They're going to try and talk to you the way that the boundary, you understand what I'm saying? The boundaries that you've set up. I'm just speaking from experience, because there are men that I went through before that they've observed me try to like take things from me, as in like I'm a big-hearted person, please don't cheat on me. What do? They cheat on me. What do? They put their hands on me. You understand? Because they try to break you down to you know, to where that they could control you. So the boundaries, I feel like you have to be really observant. Again, actions over words. Men who are really into women, they will go after them. They're the type of men to just, you understand? So I don't know. That's really iffy for me. I can't say my boundaries firsthand. I have to watch and we have to keep going.
Yeah, and I feel like I take on a different perspective because I'm like, maybe because like at a young age I kind of been through it all. I'm like, all right, listen, like especially when you're affirmed in the woman that you know are, it's like there's certain things that you know right off the bat that you're not tolerating.
Right.
Like if we can't talk to each other, like as humans, like we're on the same level. You're not talking down to me. We're talking to each other. We're not talking at each other. We're talking to each other. That's really important to me. Another boundary is like, shutting down, or not able to open up, not able to be vulnerable, and not able to hold accountability.
Yes.
That is so important because when arguments happen, because arguments do happen in relationships, when that happens, it's like, okay, well, are you able to take accountability as to where you were wrong? Because sometimes, or most times, it's not just one person.
Right.
It's somebody that triggered the other, but the way that the other person responds, now they're at fault too. So it's like being able to understand that in the full picture. I think another boundary that I have is space. Like, I feel like I'm appreciating space so much.
Right, yeah.
So I'm not the type to, like, you call me every second of the day, want to be on the phone with me. Like, that's definitely a boundary for me. And, language is so important, and tone is so important. Like, if we're arguing with each other, if you're like raising your voice at me, any physical stuff, that's already a wrap. Cheating's already a wrap. I feel like that's already a given. Like you're already out the door. To the left.
Okay, so how do you know you found your soulmate?
Ooh, how do you know you found your soulmate?
Yes.
I feel like it's like an indescribable feeling. Like you can feel that in your chest. You're like gripping your pearls. You're like, I don't know. And it's not in a way where it's like needy, where it's like, oh my God, I can't live my life without this person. But this person aids to either where I'm at or where I'm trying to go. Like this person is there for me physically. This person's there emotionally. Spiritually, he'll pray with me. He'll pray for me.
Right.
When I'm in those spaces where I'm like feeling low and feeling depressed, like that's my partner, that's my rock, and I feel like when you find that person, like they love you like flaws and all.
Yes.
Unconditional, and understanding what unconditional means, even when you're at your ugliest, at your worst.
Yes.
Like this person shows up for you. Yeah. What about you?
So because of what I do is more of a deeper sense. So because of the energy work that I do, I've learned that anybody in front of you could be your soulmate. They are your soulmate. And I'm saying this because everybody comes into your life for a reason. So every relationship you had, yes, they were your soulmate. But your soulmate for what? To break you down so you can build yourself up, to be able to make you aware of yourself so that you can better heal yourself. You feel me? So everybody in your life that you meet, that you fall in love with, it could be a family, friend, pet, is your soulmate. It's just who is your right soulmate. That's how I'm seeing it. And I feel like the right soulmate, as you said, is somebody who's like, who just loves the ground you walk on, thinks about you first before themselves, but in a good, healthy way. Like just knowing you and little aspects that you probably don't even notice yourself, and I just feel like a soulmate just completes you in the healthy way possible, where you guys can grow and build, almost like a power couple.
It's like literally a perfect well, it's not perfect, but it fits. It works.
For an example, you're my soulmate.
I love you.
You're my soulmate. You feel me?
Literally.
So you're my soulmate because we're helping each other grow. Like you're my best friend. We pour onto each other. And the best friend I had before, that was my soulmate too. But she was only meant to be in my life for a specific reason.
That's real.
You understand? So society has made soulmate be like one thing and then that's it.
Like, it doesn't have to be a relationship. It doesn't have to be a guy and a girl, a girl, guy. It could be a friendship.
A friendship, a pet, a mom, a dad, it doesn't matter. A soulmate is somebody who helps grow you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Yeah, and I definitely feel that way about you. I'm like, you're definitely my soulmate.
I know. So happy.
Because we push each other and we stimulate one another. And I'm like, that's such an important part in a relationship too. You have to be able to mentally stimulate me. Like, I don't know if it's called sapiosexual, right? Like, I'm someone that, like, you have to get in my head before you get down there.
Girl, hold on. Let's get juicy real quick. Because I don't know about you, but when you're in relationships and you're not mentally stimulated, we're going to go TMI. But when you're having sex, okay? If
Talk
you're
about
not
it.
mentally stimulating me, the sex is whack.
It's whack. I'm bored.
I need to feel safe. I need to feel intrigued. I need to feel good. Like,
it's just a
yeah.
It's just like, you know, it's just that moment that you have. It's unspoken. It's like the energy is like
But
there.
women are emotional creatures, and that's what we need. So it's not just, I don't know. I can't.
Yeah, and it's like, you don't gotta kiss me, you don't gotta, like, you know, do the most and like tell me you love me, but it's just like that emotional, that energy that's exchanged, that that like chemistry, you know what I'm saying? That like the frequency has to be right. Like, you gotta stimulate me mentally, you know, because I get bored easily, y'all.
Aquarius,
bored. Aquarius, for real. It's like, okay, what are we doing next? But like, so what are some aspects do you think that every healthy relationship should have?
Communication. Okay, hold on. You're making me deep. Okay. Okay. Communication, understanding, understanding. As you said, boundaries, respecting each other's space. Sometimes you don't always have to be together, being clingy.
Yeah.
And having fun.
I agree.
Having fun, just being like a little, you don't always have to be serious in a relationship. You can be a little child. Just because you're 50, 30, 40 years old, don't mean you have to be so serious. Like,
exactly.
Enjoy yourself. You guys are in each other's world. Like, make it fun. Make it exciting. I feel like that's very important.
I was literally thinking the same thing. Because I'm like, the first thing I think of is like travel. Like, when I'm dating someone, it's like, so you ready to take this quick vacation real quick?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You ready to catch this flight? Because, like, if we can't have fun together, if we're just, like, stuck in the house, staring at each other, you know, like, if you're not comfortable letting your inner child out around me, that's the thing. Because I'm a big goofball. Like, I may look serious right here, barely. But, like, you gotta be able to, like, you know, keep up with me and, like, get a little weird sometimes. Like, you know, I love someone, like, being in a relationship with someone that's comfortable in their skin.
Yes.
Like, and that takes you being comfortable in your skin too, to even allow someone, or for that person to allow you to be like comfortable in your skin.
Especially for somebody to just push you.
Yeah.
Push you out of your boundaries, just to do something different, something that you don't even know that
you should something do. Exciting.
Yeah,
I need a lot of excitement.
Yeah.
Spontaneity, whatever you say.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
It has to be spontaneous. It can't be like boring. We do the same things over and over again. Like, that's really important to me. I like the spice. That's why it's fun. Sorry.
Keep going, girl.
Because no, I'm like, that's why it's fun dating. Because I don't know, for those who like are serial daters and those who like to be in committed relationships, is not to shade those who like to be in committed relationships, but it's like, can we normalize like enjoying just the dating phase and letting that be it?
And that's what something I was about to talk about, right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of us get stuck on working and having to pay the bills, where we forget to take the time. It's just like self-love. Take the time to like pour onto our partners and just have fun.
Yeah.
Like, don't forget about paying the bills for a minute. Forget about responsibilities. Like, just have fun. Like, that's
fun. Yeah, and it's like, and I think a lot of us women, we rush into, okay, what's next? Because I know I'm that way too. Like,
me too.
You're dating for like a month or two, and it's like, okay, are we gonna be in a relationship? Are you like my boyfriend, my girlfriend, like whatever the case may be? Like, and it's like, enjoy the moment. I'm learning to enjoy the moment. Be patient. If it takes a year, let it take a year. Like, enjoy the moment and like have fun. Don't put so much pressure to things, because I've learned that runs people away.
Yes. Oh my God. And that goes into me talking about what's it called? What's that word called again? When you put something, like for an example, like what the fuck? Oh my goodness, I forgot. There's a label. There we go. A label.
Yep, label.
We're so focused on putting a label on everything. Where we can't just sit there and just be like, just enjoy yourself. Just like you said, just enjoy yourself. Take your time.
Because we have to make sense of everything. What is this?
Not everything needs a label. You don't have to be in a rush to put a label on everything.
Yeah.
Just forget about the labels. Are we boyfriend, girlfriends? Are we this? It will go into it and it will flow like water as you enjoy each other and life.
Exactly.
So I'm going to ask you this question.
Yes.
How do you know when it's time to break up with a person?
Woo!
How do you know?
Love.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking because I've always been the type that, like, even when I know it's over, even when I know beating a dead horse, I stay around.
Yep.
I stay around because I'm like, I'm hopeful, like, okay, something's going to change. Or maybe because I feel like, I think it's just who I am. Like, I'm just a helper, like a healer.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a problem. Let's find a solution. And you invest so much time in it. And then you realize you're losing yourself.
Yes.
Because your whole focus is on that person.
Yes.
And so, what was the question? So, like, when do you know when it's time?
When it's over.
Yeah. I feel like it starts internally. Like, you feel it. You can feel it when it's over. It's like the way I look at you is not the same. I don't get that excitement. I don't get that, like, there goes my baby. You know what I'm saying? Kind of feeling. It's just like, what you doing here? What you want?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Like, you're just tolerating them.
Yeah. I'm tolerating you. Nothing surprises me. You already pulled out all the rabbits out the hat. But what about you?
When you're not attracted to them anymore. I've learned through, again, spirituality, your soul, your spirit, everything in you knows when it's over. And again, you said, like, we always just drag them along when you know it's over. And I feel like when you stop feeling attracted to them and wanting to do things with them, it's time to cut it. Especially when you're pouring onto that person more and you're losing yourself. You're like, who am I? When you start asking yourself, who am I? It's time to cut the cord. And it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
I've been through that, but you just have to have the self-love and courage to be like, it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a hard part for a lot of women too, is letting go, especially for those who struggle with, like, abandonment issues, you know, and that's something that I really had to work on. It's like, I stayed in certain situations where people would look at me and be like,
Yep. Yep.
What are you doing? You're beautiful. Like, you don't deserve situations like that. But I struggled to let go because it's the feeling of being alone. And I feel like even for those who are not in a relationship, we need to talk about how much it's okay to be alone. It's okay to be alone.
And you're not really alone. You're, like, with yourself. Again, you're creating a relationship with yourself. And I think it's that lonely, because, again, lonely.
Alone and lonely.
That lonely word means, like, I'm just by myself, like, nobody's around me, like, who am I going to bother, who am I, like, it just has I feel like the lonely word has a negative connotation with it, I guess you can say. So it's okay to be alone, but you're not really alone. It's okay to spend time with yourself. It's okay to keep that negative person or the person you're not attracted to anymore and just separate. You understand?
Yeah.
Because then it's just like, when you separate, you end up learning things about yourself you didn't know. You end up just loving yourself again. And it's just like, when it's time to go, it's time to go. Cut it. Don't drag it. We've been through it.
Yeah.
Just know.
And that's so real, because I feel like, to be real, completely transparent, like, not to, glorify or romanticize that feeling of loneliness or being alone, because it's tough. It's tough to sit with yourself. It's tough to really have to acknowledge, one, like, say if a relationship ended, okay, what part did I play? How could I take the lessons from that relationship and apply it to the way that I continue to move and operate. And I feel like we don't take enough time as women to be able to sit in that. It's on to the next. We're getting cute. We getting snatched. We getting cute. We posted our pictures because we want him to eat his heart out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're still seeking that attention, even though it's over. And it's like, okay, he gonna realize why he missed me. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, intentionally creating that time and just being alone and just really reflecting and think about what I need and how can I give it to myself and how could I feel that. So when you're in a relationship, you're like, well, I already know what loving me feels like.
You know what you want now, what you didn't want.
Yeah.
Right.
I already know the type of experience, because when I take myself out on a date, when I do this, I already know the type of energy I need a man or a woman to step to me with when it comes to that time to dating, because you've already given it to yourself. Right. So you can feel alone, but you're not lonely, because when you have a relationship with yourself, and even if your environment, your friends, are aiding to that, you can feel alone in the moment, but you're not lonely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you there.
Yeah. For real. All right, let's see what the next question. What does intimacy mean to you?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Intimacy.
Intimacy is not just with sex. Intimacy means, for me, just sitting down and, watching a movie together, taking walks together.
Yeah.
Shutting off the TV and just talking like this.
Yeah.
Just, that intimacy goes a long way besides just touching and feeling. Because I feel like you need to learn intimacy without sex.
Yes.
And touching. Intimacy is, how intimate can you get with my mind? How intimate can you get with my body and soul? You feel me? It all works together. So, yeah, that's I
heard this saying. It was like, into me, see. You being able to look into me. You being able to feel me.
Okay, yes.
Into me, see. And it's that unspoken connection, it, like you said, it doesn't have to do with sex. And people think intimacy means like, the passion that you have with sex, but you can have intimacy in just holding hands. You can have intimacy in a hug or eye contact. That's intimacy.
Yes.
Being just like connected with each other, and that's how I describe intimacy. And there's definitely a difference between intimacy and sex, right? Sex is very like to the point. It is what it is. This is what you're doing. There's no other way around it. It's sex, whether that's like head or whatever the case may be. It's sex. But intimacy, there's, like you said, it's a broad like spectrum.
Okay, so to those who are watching, what are some ways you can say that how you've healed from toxic relationships? Like, what have you done throughout your journey? What did you realize? Like, how did that go? We're talking deep now.
Yeah, and this is it's crazy, because this is exactly what I talk about in my coaching programs, where there's like acknowledgement of the things that I allowed to happen and what I tolerated, right? And then there's a sense of awareness of who you are and the role you played in the relationship, and so in acceptance, because there are some things where we hold guilt onto us, and it's like, all right, I really feel guilty how I operated in that relationship, and then action. And so that's where action is, where the healing comes into place, right? Where it's like, okay, well, these are the things, now that I've acknowledged, accepted, I'm aware of it, these are the things that I need to do for me in order to be the best me that I need to be in a relationship. I need to address my daddy issues, right? And so a lot of that I realized in being a social psych major, I kind of already had insight and was able to connect my dots through education. But I'm like, okay, I really dealt with daddy issues, and I never wanted to call it abandonment issues, right? And so I really had to sit down and go back to the root of the pain.
Okay.
Right? And it wasn't a man. A man could have a different name or whatever the case may be. But I needed to go back to the root of the pain and understand, okay, this is where the hurt lies, and that's where I had to fix it so that I can become a whole woman and be able to be the woman that I needed to be, and not rely on the pain and hold on to that when certain things happen into a relationship, but being able to be in a healed space to be as a whole woman, right?
Oh, my, okay, yeah. Sorry. So for me, honestly, that's beautiful right there. That was beautiful because I could understand that me being a spiritual life coach, the way I handled it was meditating, learning how to forgive first. Because a lot of people, especially in Medea movies, they're like, you gotta learn how to forgive. And I've gotten questions from clients and people I work with. How do you forgive? And it's about perspective. You can't just forgive and be like, oh yeah, I forgive you. Let's forget about it. Or yeah, okay, whatever. No, it's about saying thank you.
Right.
Because in order to heal, you have to forgive the people and understand why they were in your life.
Yeah.
So this is the approach that I took with my own healing, with daddy issues, relationships, and friendships. You have to sit there and be like, okay, this person came into my life because why? Well, for me, this person abused me. This person put me to the pit of the hole and all that other stuff. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for hurting me, because if you didn't hurt me and if you didn't bring me to that end point, then I wouldn't have been the person that I am now. I wouldn't be wanting to explore life, or I wouldn't be wanting to, get to know myself more, or whatever the case may be, or understand myself. That's how you learn how to say, okay, I forgive you.
Right.
By understanding what that person was meant to be in your life.
Yes.
You understand? Nothing in this life happens for a reason. That's the approach I took. You understand? So again, like learning about yourself, healing yourself. So with healing myself again, I've learned that, okay, daddy issues. Why is this person in my life? Well, this person mirrored my dad. You understand? This person mirrored my dad. So because this person mirrored my dad in some aspects, the little girl in me was reacting in a way that my father didn't do this in X, Y, and Z. You understand? So when you learn how to become aware and heal yourself, being like, okay,
that inner child,
then not only will you be able to forgive that person and have an understanding with that person, but you'll be able to learn what are the toxic traits within me that this person is bringing out of me because of my inner child, that I need to, learn how to control and build, basically push away and heal, so that I can go to this next person and be a healed woman.
Exactly.
You understand? That comes with meditation, self-awareness within the mind, body, and soul. It all interconnects with one another. So that was the approach I took, and just did things I never did before.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
But it's time to wrap up. It's time to wrap this thing up. We could go on and on about this conversation, really, y'all. Like I said, this is my very best friend. If y'all didn't know, this is my very best friend. And this is conversations that we have very, very often. And I encourage you guys, with your friends, to have these type of conversations, because as a friendship, this is so important, to be able to check one another and be like, okay, are you in a space, especially when we're talking about relationships, just acknowledging where we're at as individuals, especially stepping into the dating scene. So I hope this conversation was extremely informative, entertaining, everything that it needs to be for you guys.
And make sure you have that friendship where you pour onto the knowledge with one another, because I can learn something from you, you can learn something from me.
Exactly. So, yes, learn things from your circles. Make sure, ladies, you guys have strong circles, strong supportive circles, strong supportive women, because that's really important too. Especially, it's hard to surround yourself with friends that are kind of going through things so much where it's like, okay, well, who do I lean to, and having that one person, someone that's your soulmate, who you're able to, be aligned with and have those deep conversations
you are who you hang around with. So
exactly. Exactly. So that is all, y'all. Thank you guys so much for watching our podcast. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to our channels. Follow us on social media. Once again, my name is Naomi Williams.
And my name is Melody.
Yes, life coach. Starting with you, life coaching. You can follow me on Instagram at Naomi, Naomi V Williams, and also on Coach by Naomi. You can also find our women's empowerment organization at She's Woke Retreat.
And if you're looking to get any Reiki, energy healing, or just to have a different perspective on things, you can definitely contact me on my Instagram at intune_queen, or you can contact my email, ujimatherapyforthesoul@gmail.com.
Yeah, y'all. This is 2023. It's about life transformation. It's about making the right choices. It's about empowering yourself. Elevation, y'all. Elevation, success.
Think about you first, healing first.
Yes, you come first always.
Yep, and everything happens for a reason. So
yes, see y'all soon. Peace and love.
Later.
Bye.